Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Give Me a Mic Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name is Chris Day, alongside my co-host Wilson Detres.
How's it going, guys?
And we're going to start off episode 2 with the CM Punk trial news. Yesterday, or a few days ago when you're listening to this, CM Punk defeated WWE's Dr. Chris Amon in the civil trial against each other, I guess. Dr. Amon was looking for nearly $4 million in damages against CM Punk and Colt Cabana for what was said on Cabana's podcast.
And to get into detail, he wanted $1 per tangible stream of that podcast episode, which equivalated to $3,989,000 in compensation damages.
Well, unfortunately for Dr. Amon, he did not get that. While he was under oath, he did admit to some malpractice of some kind. I'm not sure the exact details of that, but yes, he did. It was something about HIPAA violation or something. It's some medical thing, I guess. I didn't look too much into it. But CM Punk did defeat him, so that's in the past now.
This should clear up any, speculation that Punk will have a future return with WWE, because the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that it was speculated that WWE was funding Amon's legal fees and pouring money into him, to go against Punk on trial. So that should definitely close any talks of Punk, potentially returning to WWE in the near future.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. And there was a post-interview with Punk after the session broke yesterday, where he was asked if he was, quote, all in, referring to the All In show in Chicago in September, and Punk's answer was right to the point. He said, "I'm not."
Well, I saw the interview earlier today, and, you can never really go off of that. He's got a big fight with UFC 225 at the end of this week. I believe it's Saturday, right?
It is Saturday, June 9th against Mike Jackson.
Right. It's June. That's in September. Punk's got a lot going on right now, and we don't know what's going to happen with him in his MMA career. So, take that with a grain of salt.
And obviously, I think even if he was signed for All In, he's not just going to blatantly come out and say, "Oh yeah, I'm on the card." So,
right. But yeah. If you're listening, that should close any thoughts of Punk ever coming back to the WWE. I mean, the company fired the man on his wedding day.
That is true, yeah.
I mean, there's no love lost there. Punk is definitely not looking to go anywhere near the WWE at all. And, but we've seen this before with guys like Warrior, Hogan.
Bret Hart comes to mind.
Bret Hart,
never say never, but it doesn't look likely that he ever returned to WWE.
And if there's ever going to be a working relationship, maybe something like a DLC at a video game, maybe something like that, maybe. But maybe some merchandising stuff. I just don't see.
Well, you never know. It happened with Goldberg and Kurt Angle, and you never know. But don't hold your breath for it.
Yeah, and so there's that. Now to go to Raw and Smackdown this week, we wanted to discuss a few things.
Marching towards Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which is June 17th. We're still a little under 2 weeks away now.
Yeah, since last week's episode, I guess we were both wrong, because we thought Jason Jordan was going to answer Seth Rollins' IC title open challenge, which isn't going to happen now because Seth Rollins versus Elias for the Intercontinental title was just added to Money in the Bank.
I did say that was a possibility, which was confirmed a couple days after we recorded episode 1.
Right.
But yes, Elias is facing Seth Rollins at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and they started off. Raw started off this week to build that feud. It was a tag team match: Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns versus Elias and Jinder Mahal,
which got a reaction, and they're really trying to get some of Rollins's cheers gravitating towards Roman. They're trying to milk it, and the match got a reaction and Roman got some cheers in, but it's not gonna really.
Yeah, anytime they do a Shield type of thing, Roman gets more of a face reaction than he normally would. But again, his match with Jinder at Money in the Bank is a singles match in Chicago, so he's gonna get booed out of the building. But I think Well, I think this match focused more on Seth Rollins and Elias anyway.
You said Elias ended up pinning Rollins, right?
He did, yes. Elias pinned Seth Rollins in the match. Jinder and Elias get the win. But, typically in wrestling logic, when that happens before a pay-per-view, typically the person who lost on TV gets the win on the pay-per-view. But, I hope Elias goes over. I think he's deserving of a singles title. I think he's built up enough to earn that. But, we'll see what happens in Money in the Bank because Seth Rollins is just on such a hot streak right now. I don't think WWE will want to kill that momentum by taking the belt off him.
You're right, and we'll discuss. I have some opinions on that. And to move forward, the B team earned a tag team title match.
I don't get me wrong. I love the B team.
Sure.
I love what they're doing with Axel and Dallas now.
They're over.
They are over, and it's great.
They're funny. They're entertaining.
I had a big problem with the Battle Royal, and that was the fact that McIntyre and Ziggler were eliminated first.
Let me tell you my opinion on that. If they were going to go with that route, well, they did, where they're eliminated and they attack everybody else afterwards, right?
Yes.
Why not just have them not even in the match to begin with?
Yeah, I agree.
And then go in and attack the winners or whoever else after the match or whatever the case. To make them, still look strong and not have to suffer a defeat, and, in the hands of the B team. It's like, they still look strong, but it just doesn't help their momentum.
I almost think that they shouldn't have been in the match at all.
They shouldn't have. No.
And then,
not at all.
Complain to Kurt Angle next week, why weren't they even in the match? They're running the show, etc. Complain about something. And another team, the Authors of Pain, who had 2 matches on Raw after WrestleMania and then haven't been heard from.
They haven't, yeah.
I'm not sure.
Just like Sanity over on SmackDown.
Yeah, what's the rumors is Creative has nothing for them.
Which is ridiculous.
But if you had nothing for them, why did you bring them up in the first place?
Same with Sanity. Sanity, their last promo for their debut on SmackDown was on May 8th. So now we're already a month in, and I mean, I did see that they did make their main roster debut at a live event.
Yes, I was just gonna bring that up. Yes,
but that doesn't really mean anything. I mean, a lot of guys perform on live events that aren't on TV, and it doesn't really.
Yeah, you see that all the time.
Right. And then when you have such a big delay, like a whole month of no promotion or nothing like that, that's kind of concerning. I mean, they might just get this feud with Gallows and Anderson and the Bludgeon Brothers out of the way to set up for Sanity and Bludgeon Brothers.
Well, I think Sanity should have been brought up to win a few matches on TV first.
Right.
And
I agree.
That way they have some victories to go into a feud with the Bludgeon Brothers. I think those 2 teams with their gimmicks would mesh well if they did something like that.
I agree. Another match that was added to Money in the Bank since we last recorded: Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass.
Woof. That is my response. They're doing that. Why? What is the point?
Well, apparently Big Cass is slowly and surely moving away from the doghouse like he was a few weeks ago. He might go over Daniel. I mean, I don't really care what happens in that match. I think this is all part of Daniel Bryan's rise to go back into the WWE Championship picture in the future.
Well, I heard Daniel Bryan is negotiating a new WWE contract where he has some creative control over his character.
Good.
And I don't think that he's going to sign one if he doesn't get that. Because then they could they tell him what to do, and that's that.
Right. His contract expires September 1st, I believe. And obviously he's going to renegotiate that before that.
I don't know if it is September 1st.
I read an article
that would be awesome, because guess what else is September 1st?
Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine if, just humor me for a second here. Can you imagine if All In went to, say, 10 minutes past midnight on September 1st, and it was technically September 2nd, and Daniel Bryan wouldn't be breaking his contract because it'd be expired? I know it's not going to happen. I'm just dreaming here, but, oh, man, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, and All In. I mean, come on.
12:01, and now time for your main event.
Your last minute main event.
It's not gonna happen, but it's just
Yeah, we're just messing with
living in a pipe dream over here.
Right. But another thing, I expected the contract signing for the WWE Championship you know, to be your cliche contract signing, a table in the middle of the ring,
Yep.
in front of a live audience, on TV. No, not at all. What we got was a parent-teacher conference
Yes.
in a backstage
That's a good way to put it.
in a backstage segment that was pre-taped and aired on the Titantron.
And there was also 2 other guys there who I guess were supposed to be the lawyers. When does that ever happen?
One was like Dean Malenko, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, was it? I don't know. It's just
Probably some back. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
that doesn't matter. It was a pre-taped contract signing for the WWE Championship. That's how much you think of your top prize to do a pre-taped contract signing with 2 of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, that certainly didn't do SmackDown any favors. This was what, the June 5th episode?
June 5th, yes.
Yeah,
June 5th episode of SmackDown Live.
Right. It didn't do it. It didn't do it any favors. What was the main event again? It was Samoa Joe,
Rusev and The Miz versus The New Day.
Yeah, I mean,
6-man tag main event.
Yeah, you know, if you miss any of these matches, if you're listening to this and you missed any of these matches, it's not worth going back and watching it. It's more like an entertainment factor.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. That's not a bad main event.
No,
you
but
could have done the contract signing as the main event.
Yeah, but what I mean by entertainment, they were throwing pancakes around towards the end of the match. It wasn't really anything they were taking very serious. They're honestly just killing time until Money in the Bank. So that's how I see
that's how it is usually in certain parts of the year. February, before you really build to WrestleMania, you got kind of a spot there. June, July, before you build to SummerSlam, you kind of got a spot there. It's one of those down times during the year, I guess you could say.
Well, Raw is certainly suffering without a world champion, and I wanted to talk about this.
Oh, God.
Listen, I'm a fan of Brock Lesnar. I enjoy Brock Lesnar. Am I a fan of his booking? As of late, no. Actually, since he's been with the company, when he came back in 2012, I like Brock. I think he's one of those special guys who come in and they can make the jump between UFC and WWE. And not many guys can do that. The Rock, he makes the jump between Hollywood and wrestling.
Cena's starting to do the same thing.
Cena's doing the same thing. So he's a special attraction. I agree with that. But Raw specifically is suffering for the last year and a half without a world champion.
Absolutely.
Brock Lesnar, I just want to point this out. Brock Lesnar is at 429 plus days as your Universal Champion.
So potentially, when you hear this podcast, he could have passed CM Punk's record 434 days.
Well, I was going to get into that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you talk about that then.
Yeah. Well, CM Punk had what was it? The 11th longest title reign or something like that.
No, I think it was 7th longest in modern day history.
Okay, so he had the 7th longest title reign in modern history, which is probably like 25 years. He won the title and he won the championship in November of 2011 at Survivor Series. Defeated Alberto Del Rio.
Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah. And then he held it until the Royal Rumble of 2013 when he lost it to The Rock.
Which was complete crap, by the way.
Right. Well, they did that,
He lost to a people's elbow. Give me a break.
Yeah, that was just done to make, to do Cena and Rock again, this time for the title.
Yeah, once in a lifetime, guys. Until next year. I'm still mad about that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Anyways, yes, so he held it until January 2013, won it in November of 2011. He was champion for 434 days, the 7th longest title reign in modern day history in WWE. I suppose maybe the last 25 years. Brock Lesnar needs to hold the championship until June 11th to tie that title reign. And he needs to hold it to June 12th to break that title reign. Now, obviously, guys, that's going to happen because Brock isn't advertised for Money in the Bank or anything after that. So he's definitely breaking CM Punk's title reign. And he's definitely going to go into SummerSlam or at least Extreme Rules on July 15th as champion. Now, one of the rumors that I heard was that they were going to keep this hot streak with Rollins going as IC champion. Pretty much what they did with Cena in 2015 when he was US champion. And they had him do the US title open challenges and, just steamrolled through everybody and then eventually had that match with Rollins at SummerSlam. So I read a rumor that they're going to keep doing that and then have Rollins and Lesnar at SummerSlam for the Universal title with both titles on the line.
I would be perfectly okay with that.
With Rollins going over. That was what I heard.
I don't see Brock Lesnar with the Intercontinental title on his shoulder either, so...
I could see it happening. And Brock dropping it, not too long after. But I think Rollins would be a great choice, definitely. Now, I wanted to get into this. So Brock's been champion for 429 plus days. Yes. Won the title at WrestleMania 33 when he defeated Goldberg.
Can we talk about the fact that Goldberg is the most recent Universal Champion besides Brock Lesnar? Just want to point that out.
Goldberg held the title for 28 days. Anyways, so Brock Lesnar's been champion for 429 plus days. In that time span, he's defended the championship 6 times.
That is disgusting.
I'm just going to list off his title defenses, and I want to make a point here when I do this. July 9th, 2017, Great Balls of Fire versus Samoa Joe. August 20th, 2017, SummerSlam versus Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe Fatal 4-Way. September 24th, 2017, No Mercy versus Braun Strowman. And then now we're moving on to 2018. January 28th, Royal Rumble versus Kane and Braun Strowman. April 8th, Mania 34 versus Roman Reigns. And then April 27th, the Greatest Royal Rumble versus Roman Reigns. Now, out of all of these title defenses, half of these, he's defeated Roman Reigns. At SummerSlam on August 20th, he pinned Reigns in that Fatal 4-Way. He did. He caught him with the spear, hit him with the F5, and pinned him.
And I remember we were talking about that before it happened. I remember everything we all thought Samoa Joe was going to take the pinfall.
Yeah, or Braun.
Because they weren't going to hurt. They weren't going to hurt Roman or Braun. They wanted to make him look strong, and Roman got pinned. And I was thrilled that Roman got pinned.
Yeah, Mania 34, Roman gets beat. Greatest Royal Rumble. It wasn't a pretty win, but he won.
All right, I mean, that's a technicality, which is what they're trying to build in the storyline. But the point is, even if Roman was the winner, Brock wouldn't have been pinned there because they went through the cage.
Right.
But still, Roman Reigns has had 3 title shots. He lost them all. Why does he get more? Or why is he still being pushed as, the guy?
And the remaining 3 title defenses, Lesnar defeated Kane, Braun Strowman, and Samoa Joe. Now, I talked about how, he could probably face Rollins at SummerSlam. I also heard a rumor that his next title defense could be at Extreme Rules. That's not confirmed. That's just a rumor for now. But if you look back last year when he won the title at Mania, his first title defense after Mania was on July 9th at Great Balls of Fire. And then he had a title defense at SummerSlam and then at No Mercy the following month in September. So they might follow in that same formula. We don't know yet. I don't think it'll be wise to take Brock off of TV for 3.5 months after his last title defense, to just bring him back 4 months later at SummerSlam versus, in July at 3 months, if that makes sense. So I think, I hope we see him in next month in July. But as of right now, Seth Rollins is a very credible opponent. I just don't see Roman getting another title shot and pushing it like he's gonna win, because it's not believable. It's not even. Yeah, you're not gonna believe it. It's not believable.
It's not believable at this point, especially after the performance at WrestleMania where Roman Reigns took 6 F5s. I don't know how many spears he hit, because I was in attendance for WrestleMania, and I was more concerned with the beach ball that was flying around near my head than I was with the match, because I was so sure Roman was going to go over, and I didn't care.
Right.
I paid attention towards the end when Brock won, and I was pumped when Brock won, because the shocked look on everyone's face in the crowd was priceless.
Well, they knew, and I think Brock re-signing with the company definitely influenced that decision.
But no one had really known that he had signed at that point.
No. When it comes to Brock, I think it's his contract negotiations are him, Paul Heyman, Vince McMahon, and his lawyer sitting in one room with no outside interference, no outside sources, no cameras, no nothing. I think they probably renegotiated that contract the day of Mania.
I wouldn't doubt that, or at least that weekend of, because
I don't doubt it.
Into town.
I do not doubt it. I think Brock is very smart in what he does. He's definitely got a ironclad, multi-million-dollar contract, and
even 3 years ago when he re-signed, because there was rumors he was going to go back to UFC.
Yeah, back in 2015.
And I think he broke the news on ESPN. I think it was SportsCenter he was on.
Yeah.
And it was, I think, something like 4 or 5 days before his contract was set to expire.
Right.
And that's when he broke the news. He broke it on national television just days before it's going to expire. So, he's a smart guy.
Yeah, he knows how to hustle. And he's got Paul Heyman, with him, and Paul Heyman himself is turning into an attraction. You don't have many good managers out there anymore. You don't actually, now that I think about it, you don't even have any male managers anymore. That's kind of fizzled out within the company. You don't see that.
I agree. Yeah.
You don't see that. He's definitely an attraction in it, in and of himself. And when you see Paul Heyman, it's something to get excited about because Brock's not far away.
I can't wait for the day that Paul Heyman goes into the Hall of Fame because that speech will be amazing.
He will go into the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely, no doubt.
Definitely. But yeah, that's what I had to say about Brock. Let's move over to NXT Takeover Chicago 2.
Yes.
That's taking place June 16th, the night before Money in the Bank.
Yes.
WWE has recently promoted Money in the Bank to their 5th biggest pay-per-view.
I guess that's why we're getting the NXT pay-per-view. We got one in Chicago last year also.
That was a great event.
That was before Backlash, I believe, wasn't it?
Yes. So let's go over the card. I have it here with me. And what I'm going to do is I'll just name off the match. You give me your opinion, and I'll...
Now, I'm gonna throw this out there. I am not, as big a fan as NXT as I probably should be.
You should be.
Because I know the product is much better. The matches are always better, etc. It's just something, I've never really followed strongly.
You should.
But I do know, enough about it. I can give you an opinion here.
So, NXT TakeOver Chicago 2, June 16th. Let's start with the NXT Championship. The current champion, Aleister Black, will be defending the title against Lars Sullivan.
I like Aleister Black. I don't think they're going to take the belt off him yet.
No.
Is Lars Sullivan also still undefeated?
I don't think he is.
No?
I might be wrong, guys. I might be wrong. I haven't tuned into NXT in the last, I want to say 2 weeks, but I do know he's being heavily protected. He had a great showing. I don't mean to cut you off. He had a great showing over at NXT TakeOver New Orleans in the North American Championship ladder match. He's definitely being protected, and he's definitely had a good showing. I do not believe he's undefeated. You might be wrong on that, but
I see Lars Sullivan as another one of those big guys,
right?
That he doesn't really do anything for me. I could see him becoming champion. I don't think now is the right time. I would like to see Aleister Black hold it through SummerSlam and probably be the call-up after SummerSlam, if I had to guess.
Well,
but there's so many ways you can go with that. I mean,
yeah, Lars isn't winning. He's a pretty agile big man, and they see something in him. He definitely has potential. I don't dislike him, and I don't like him. He's kind of in the middle for me.
Yeah, I agree. He has all the potential in the world, but it's just
right. He's kind of in the middle.
We've seen some of these just big guys that are always pushed, whatnot, and I feel like he kind of gets lumped into that because of his size.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't like him. I don't dislike him. I think they're gonna have a pretty decent match. I don't think they're gonna have a bad match.
No, NXT matches are always NXT Chicago will probably be better than Money in the Bank. Let's put it that way.
You know what? I wouldn't disagree with you, but my prediction is that Black will retain.
Yes, I agree.
Let's move down the card here, which I think will be one of the matches of the night. Ricochet versus the Velveteen Dream.
I can't wait for that. Let's just recall how Ricochet broke the internet recently with his top rope flip to answer Velveteen Dream. But
that was awesome. I
love both guys. Velveteen Dream has, that gimmick that is just it's almost refreshing to see a gimmick like that.
Oh, it's a Rick Rude Prince hybrid.
But it's something you don't see nowadays.
No.
And he plays it so well. He's had great matches, especially the one with Aleister Black that was that happened for what show?
That was TakeOver War Games.
Yes.
In November.
They had a great match. That was a great feud.
Yes.
Ricochet, I actually met Ricochet at Access. Great, very nice guy.
Oh, did you?
I did, yes. And his autograph is awesome because he actually spells out his whole name, unlike some people who just kind of scribble.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Ricochet and Velveteen Dream has the potential to be match of the night.
Absolutely. If you're listening to this and you don't know any of these guys, the Velveteen Dream is money. Ricochet is money. Look up the Velveteen Dream's match with Aleister Black at NXT TakeOver War Games in November of 2017. That was a great match. Look up Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. Look up their performances in the NXT North American Championship ladder match at NXT TakeOver New Orleans in April. These guys are money. They're the future. Patrick Clark, who plays Velveteen Dream, he's only 22, so he's got his whole career ahead of him, and he's so good at such a young age. You're gonna see a lot from him.
By the way, I'm turning 27 soon, so the fact that he's 22 makes me feel like shit.
Well, you should feel worse. Tyler Bate was 19 when he won the WWE UK title.
You were not helping. But then again, Nicholas Cone was 10 when he won the tag team titles.
Oh God.
But yeah, going back to the match, I'm not even sure if I can predict a winner for that.
I don't think it matters who wins.
I don't think either way it'll matter because they're both going to put on. I think they're going to put on a classic.
Yeah, with the Dream, my opinion, Ricochet will win. With Dream, he's just so young and he's got so much to learn, but he's so good that I don't mind that he's going to be in NXT for at least a few more years to mature more, and that gimmick is only going to grow from where it is now and get even better.
Absolutely.
But yeah, let's move on down. NXT Tag Team Championship match. The champions, the Undisputed Era, versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Now, I don't believe Bobby Fish is cleared to wrestle yet, so I think the champions representing the Undisputed Era will be Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. My prediction is the Undisputed Era will retain.
I agree. I mean, I think they need to keep the belts, especially because Adam Cole is the North American champion.
Yes, he is.
I think, with their name, especially the Undisputed Era, having both titles, it's just good to keep everything on them.
Yeah, and Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch are a great team. They're great competitors. I've seen them fight in, singles matches and tag team matches. These are good athletes, and they're definitely going to pull off a great match. Yeah, Oney Lorcan reminds me of like a Cesaro type of wrestler. He looks like him a little bit. But yeah, definitely, they're going to pull out a great match. But I think Undisputed Era is going to win and retain.
Yeah, it's not the time to take the belts off Undisputed Era. It's too quick to do that.
Right. One of the matches rumored, which is I think it's pretty much going to be announced either tomorrow or tonight, actually. Excuse me, either tonight will be Shayna Baszler defending the NXT Women's title versus Nikki Cross. And my prediction for that is Shayna Baszler will retain the title. She just won it.
Yeah, she's not going to lose it that quickly, especially with the build-up to get her the belt when she lost to Ember Moon the first time, I believe.
Yeah.
And, she had the rematch and won. So I think Shayna Baszler is going to retain. I like Nikki Cross.
Yeah, she's got a great gimmick. She's
not going to be called up with Sanity.
Well, this doesn't make sense because it's like Sanity gets called up to the main roster, and now Nikki Cross is just left alone on NXT to fend for herself, but now Sanity hasn't even debuted on SmackDown.
Yeah, so took them away from her for no reason.
Right. So
and this isn't the first time though. They did it to Carmella too when they brought Endzone Cass to the big roster.
Yeah.
The main roster, they left her down in NXT.
Well,
I understand. I mean, it's not quite the same in the situation.
Right.
But you get the point. Why break up a stable or a faction and
with no long-term plans for I hear you. A rumored match. There's one more match to discuss, but I wanted to get this out of the way. A rumored match was a champion versus champion match, which was NXT North American champion Adam Cole versus WWE United Kingdom champion Pete Dunne. That was rumored for the pay-per-view. That's actually on the card online at one point, but they are both expected to miss this event because they're needed for the UK events and the European tour overseas. Now, they're doing the WWE United Kingdom Championship tournament this month, I believe. So, and then they need Adam Cole for the European tour. So, unfortunately, they will not be at the event. Again, anything can change. The only way they can make this happen is if they both appear at the pay-per-view and then leave immediately afterwards, which I don't think is going to happen. That's a bummer. I was really looking forward to that.
That match would be so good.
It would be.
And
it would.
I hope maybe it'll happen down the line. I hope.
Well,
if it's not, if it doesn't happen, I don't think it'll happen either. No. But man, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah. Now up for the main event, and I think it's going to be the match of the night. Might make match of the year. Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in a street fight.
Well, after the match they had at
it was a 5-star match.
Yeah,
5-star match.
The NXT Takeover New Orleans before WrestleMania.
Yeah, Dave Meltzer gave it a 5-star rating.
And he doesn't do that much for NXT or WWE matches in general.
No.
I think the last one before that was Punk and Cena in Chicago in 2011.
Yeah, Money in the Bank.
But yeah, I mean, this feud is just so good.
It is. Tommaso Ciampa is a natural heel. He comes
Yes.
he goes out there and he gets legit heat. Like he goes out there.
He spoiled Avengers Infinity War just
Yes.
to get heat. That's amazing.
That's how you do it. You know, that's how you get to think outside the box. You have to be original. You have to be your own character, and he's doing that. He goes out there with no music, nothing, and the crowd just shits on him. They just crap on him.
But that's the reaction you want when you're a heel. You don't even need music to get the crowd to react.
Absolutely.
You're just booed when you come out.
Absolutely. And this match is going to be a classic. If it's anything like the match that they had in New Orleans, which it's going to be, and it might even surpass it, it's going to be great. And this card isn't very long, but you're definitely going to get quality over quantity.
I've got to assume that Ciampa's going to get the win this time. He lost
it doesn't matter, honestly.
It doesn't matter. You're right.
It doesn't.
Just because of Gargano winning the last one.
It doesn't. And I mean, if Ciampa wins, I would love to see Gargano go over to SmackDown.
Yes.
And have matches with Styles and Nakamura and Daniel Bryan. That'd be incredible. Tommaso Ciampa, I would love for him to stay in NXT and feud with Aleister Black.
I was just going to say the same thing. Yes, especially being out with the injury for so long, I think he needs to stay in NXT a little longer.
Oh, yeah.
And I could see him being the guy that takes the belt off of Black. When it's Black's time to come up.
Tommaso Ciampa, when he got injured last year, he was out for what, a year?
Close
to a year.
It was quite a year, but it was close to it, yeah.
Right. Let's go about 10 months. Actually, yeah, you're right. About 8-9 months. And then he comes back, bigger than he was before, with more muscle and in better shape, and comes back performing better than he did last time, with so much time off, in between the surgeries and all that. So this guy, he's impressive, and he's definitely dedicated to what he's doing. Same with Johnny Gargano. They're giving all that they have in this feud, and it's working. And again, this is going to be a classic, man. I can't wait for that.
And those two guys, they have such good chemistry in the ring that it doesn't matter what type of match they have. It's going to be a 5-star match. I don't see any other outcome besides a 5-star match from those two.
Right. Let's move forward. Now that we're talking about 5-star matches, I definitely want to get your opinion on what I am about to say now. And this might be a spoiler for Money in the Bank, but I don't think it matters, honestly. Ronda Rousey, former MMA legend. Oh, she is an MMA legend.
Yeah, she's an MMA legend.
She is an MMA legend. Ronda Rousey is set for an epic dream match after Money in the Bank title match. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, apparently, plans are in place to have an epic 8-woman tag team match in the near future, featuring the 4 horsewomen from MMA versus the 4 horsewomen from WWE. According to Ringside News, they expect Rousey to team with her, fellow MMA counterparts. Forgive me for butchering their names if I do. NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler, Marina Shafir, and Jessamine Duke to face Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Flair, Becky Lynch, and Bayley. I don't know if you know this, but they teased this match last September on a backstage segment during the Mae Young Classic. Yes. Now, I saw that, and I wasn't really pumped. maybe I should have been, but I wasn't really that much invested into it. Like, I saw it, and I thought it was cool. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, come on. Like, if you're going to try and convince me that Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, and Bayley have a chance in a real fight, it's just not going to happen.
And that's exactly what my thought. I was like,
right.
Wow, it's cool for the promotion-wise, but you got 4 legitimate people who actually fight against 4. Let's call it what it is. It's a scripted sport.
Right.
I mean, we all know that.
So they're planning to do this. Now the question is, now, if it happens, it's when it happens. Now it could happen at Survivor Series with the whole formula of an 8-woman, tag team match.
I feel like that would make sense.
They could do that. They could do it at SummerSlam, second biggest event behind second biggest event of the year behind WrestleMania.
It would make sense if you have almost like the captains. If you had Rousey with the belt, Charlotte with the belt. If that's what I mean. I know Charlotte doesn't have the belt right now, but she could potentially win Money in the Bank.
Right. But
or see what they do there.
Mm-hmm. But I can see them saving it for WrestleMania 35 in 2019 and just milking it for all it's worth.
Yeah, it wouldn't. There was rumors that they were going to do that this year also at one point. This past year in New Orleans, that didn't come to fruition.
I mean, I just think with all the money they're dumping into, Rousey and her contract and all the stuff that they're doing, they'd want to showcase this on a bigger stage.
You'd think, yeah. And I could see that happening.
So, yeah. And if it's, it is going to happen. The question is just when?
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be in one of the big pay-per-views. Definitely not going to happen at Royal Rumble.
No. Although, even though Royal Rumble this year is supposed to be, I believe, in Arizona at a baseball stadium.
Is it really?
I believe so. So I think they're talking about 50,000 people for Royal Rumble this year. But again, Royal Rumble is about the Royal Rumble.
Right.
Especially if they do 2 Rumbles again this year, which they probably will.
So, with all this said and done, this actually could be a potential spoiler that Ronda is going to beat Nia Jax at Money in the Bank to start this dominant reign as champion going into this big match.
Well, I heard, the rumor was, and this is literally the rumor the night after WrestleMania 34, that the main event of WrestleMania 35 was going to be Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte.
That could very well still happen. If that happens, then this match would probably take place at a Survivor Series.
Yeah, and that's where sometimes feuds for Mania, the seeds kind of get planted for that.
Right, but here's the thing. Marina Shafir, Jessamine Duke, they've signed developmental contracts with WWE. So they're signed. This came to me now. Survivor Series, they've been doing the Raw versus SmackDown matches lately, right? Those formulas?
Typically, yes. But, there's always sometimes multiple... there's multiple Survivor Series matches anyway.
Well, the main event this year was was it an 8-man tag with Raw versus SmackDown?
I believe so. I can't remember off the top of my head.
So I could see them doing, Shayna, Marina, Jessamine, and Ronda from Raw, and then moving Sasha and Bayley over to SmackDown just to make it a Raw versus SmackDown match. I'm thinking outside the box here. I don't think they're going to do that.
Because you could just say, more of an MMA versus WWE match.
Yeah, you could sell it.
You could do a cross-branded thing, especially at a show like that. But, I don't think... I don't know. I would be interested in it,
right.
But you can't convince me that the MMA women would lose.
No way.
That's just what it comes down to.
There's no way. I could definitely the way that they're booking the 4 horsewomen from WWE, I can almost just see Charlotte Flair being there by herself against all 4 of the other.
I wouldn't doubt that.
I could definitely see that.
And then have her taking out 3 of them and then losing to Rousey at the end.
I could definitely see that.
I think Rousey has to go undefeated till Mania next year.
She probably will.
If that's the plan, to do Charlotte and Rousey.
Yeah, but either way, I think this is going to speak doom for Nia Jax's title reign. If she expected to have a long, lengthy reign as champion, that's not going to happen. Obviously, plans can change. Things, plans change every minute.
You never know.
You never know, but Nia Jax's title reign, unfortunately, is very expendable. It's not something that needs to be, it doesn't need to happen. She's already had her moment.
She, and especially, she got a WrestleMania moment out of it. So there's that.
Yeah, she got a WrestleMania moment.
I like Nia Jax personally.
I do too. She's just very soft in the ring. She wrestles like she is afraid to hurt her opponent.
Well,
if you watch how she performs, she wrestles like she's scared to hurt her opponent. I'm just not sold on it. But she's not a bad athlete.
No, not at all.
Moving on. Stephanie McMahon. WWE's Chief Brand Officer is set to appear on an episode of Undercover Boss.
I did not know that.
You did not know that?
I did not hear about that. That's got to be good. I want to watch that.
Yeah, actually, CBS announced that the WWE episode will actually air on June 15th.
Wow, that is soon.
Very soon.
Who knows? Some of you listening, you might be hearing this after June 15th.
Right.
So, yeah, I did not know about that.
Apparently this season of the show will be different.
It's a celebrity undercover boss season, I believe they're doing.
Yeah, instead of bosses of companies going undercover to monitor their employees, celebrities will be going undercover to seek out people who deserve a job in their chosen careers. Now check this out. Content for McMahon's episode on the show was filmed at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida.
Okay, does it say what she was doing there, undercover as?
No. The content of the show is that they'll be seeking out people who deserve a job in that career field.
Okay.
So she's working in the Performance Center. She's probably working with talent that's either just signed or is about to be signed.
Yeah.
or stuff like that. If you want to check out her disguise, go on WWE's Twitter page under the June 1st post, and you'll see a picture of her and let me know. I think when she talks, she's going to give herself away because she has a very distinct voice.
Yeah, but the makeup and stuff they use in that show is very convincing, so you never know.
Maybe. I mean, yeah. Her and Triple H will also be appearing on an episode of Carpool Karaoke.
I did hear about that one.
Right. So yeah, that's that. I mean, I'll definitely tune in to watch that to see how she pulls that off.
You know, and they are very entertaining on other things like that, especially the Carpool Karaoke. You know, 'cause they appeared on Jimmy Fallon, did the karaoke thing there against the New Day, right. And it was very entertaining. So you know, they're tough heels on TV and stuff, but they're very entertaining outside of the show also.
Yeah. John Cena, 16-time world champion.
Yes.
5-time United States champion. 4-time WWE Tag Team champion. 2-time Royal Rumble winner. That John Cena. John Cena, who's heartbroken over breaking up with Nikki Bella.
Yes.
You know, it's no secret he's a part-timer these days.
Absolutely. He is also an attraction now also.
Right. His role in WWE will likely be limited for the rest of his career there.
Most likely. I mean, I believe he is over 40 now. He's 40. Or 41 now, I believe.
Yeah, he had a solid, 10, 11 years in there running head-on as a face.
Really, 2005 to really 2017, he was really full-time and always there. So,
well, Cena's not featured in advertisements for SummerSlam or Survivor Series this year. I know Survivor Series is probably a little early, but he's not advertised for any of those events. So that actually should tell people that his current hiatus could be his longest.
You know, I'm really surprised he wouldn't be at SummerSlam, considering it's the second biggest show of the year. Now, it's still June. There is still time to build him for SummerSlam. I don't know what he would do.
Well, he didn't really do anything at Mania this year. Like, he had a 5-minute squash match. It wasn't even 5 minutes.
I think it was less than 3 total. It was
right.
2:45 or something along
he had
those lines.
Right. He had a 2-minute and 45-second squash match against Taker at Mania. Then his last match was a one-off throwaway match against Triple H at the Greatest Royal Rumble.
And there was really no build or anything.
With no storyline behind it.
All the other matches on that card had at least a little bit of build towards them. That had nothing. It was just announced.
Right. And there have been no further updates or announcements regarding his in-ring return since then. You might see a possible Royal Rumble appearance next year, but if you're a fan of John Cena, you likely might not see him for the rest of the year.
Well, you could see him on TV shows like Total Bells every Sunday, but yeah, if you're looking for him in the ring, you're probably not going to see him.
No, likely not.
But you never know. Plans can change. You know, we'll see what happens, but don't expect Cena anytime soon.
No, not at all. Not at all. Speaking of John Cena, now actually, this is great that we were talking about him. So I was thinking about some fantasy matches that I would like to see.
Okay, yep.
And I was thinking to myself, let me just write them down. And it wouldn't hurt to talk about them on the show. I didn't really give too much thought to it. I kind of just went off of the top of my head. And I think I shared 2 of them with you.
Yes, we have discussed this also off the air.
Right. So what I want to do is I'll name you the fantasy match, and I want to hear who you think would win.
Absolutely. I love fantasy matches like this, even though they won't happen. Or probably won't happen.
Probably won't.
But, it's always fun to talk about.
Well, since we're on the subject of John Cena versus Hulk Hogan from 1988.
Oof. Boy, that is right at the end of, I think, Hogan's first run with the belt. It was something like 4 years long.
Right.
Now, are we talking about Cena today or like Cena 2005?
I don't think Cena has lost a step between 05 and now.
I can agree with that, yeah. I can agree with that.
No. I think he was more inexperienced back then than he is now.
True, and especially with the U.S. Open Challenge matches that were all phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
Even though some people should have probably beat him, but that's not the point. Wow, Cena and Hogan. I have to go with Hogan in this situation.
I did as well.
Especially at that time frame, because Hogan was, let's be realistic with backstage stuff, he was politicking everyone at that point.
Yeah.
So there's no way he's going to job to Cena, but obviously this is just, a fan thing anyway, but Hulk Hogan, I think a lot of people, if they had named one wrestler that they remember, especially an older generation, they're going to say Hulk Hogan.
Right.
Newer generation might say Rock, Stone Cold, John Cena maybe, but I think Hulk Hogan is generally considered the face of wrestling
He is.
overall. That's
He
why
is.
the wrestling experience is the highest popularity. You know, the rock and wrestling connection.
He's
WrestleMania started with Hogan.
he's one of the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. So I think Hogan would go over, but I mean,
I agree.
either way.
I think Cena's a better athlete, but Hogan would have went over.
And I think Cena could have gotten a great match out of Hogan, especially we're talking 88 Hogan, you know, with
Yeah.
his body and whatnot. But
Definitely. So we both agree on that.
Hogan is the winner.
Yeah, definitely. Next match. Eddie Guerrero from 2004 versus AJ Styles from 2007. My opinion, Eddie Guerrero.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about Eddie and his title run here.
Eddie in his prime.
Oh man. You know, if Eddie Guerrero is still alive today, that could still be a 5-star match today.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Eddie Guerrero would be in his 50s now, but still.
He'd be retired by now.
Yeah, but I mean, no doubt that would be. Oh man.
I would go with Eddie.
Yeah, Styles in 2007. Even though I watched TNA at that point, which I don't watch anymore, or GFW or whatever it is now.
Oh, it's Impact now. Impact
It's
Wrestling.
just Impact now. You know, I did watch TNA at that point. I loved AJ Styles. He was one of my favorites there. But I didn't see him at. I think he'd already been world champion at that point too. But
Yeah.
I got to go with Eddie Guerrero. I just do.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you disagree with any of these, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your opinions.
Definitely. I think Eddie. Man, I think Eddie was he's one of the best technical wrestlers
Yes.
and showmen that they had, and that the business in general had.
But he also had that high flying arsenal.
Yeah,
Which against AJ Styles would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
No pun intended there, by the way.
Right. So yeah, I go with Eddie. You said Eddie too, right?
I did say Eddie too. Yes.
All right. Next match: Kurt Angle from 2003 versus Bret Hart from 1994.
Wow. You know, that would have to be a submission match, in my opinion. It just does. But wow, Hart from '94. Kurt Angle. I gotta go Kurt Angle. I do.
And I'll tell you why I said Kurt Angle, because Bret Hart had the slightest edge in submission, but Kurt Angle was a better technical wrestler and a better overall athlete. Not by much though.
Yes, I do. I agree with the better overall athlete part. Not that Bret Hart is a phenomenal athlete, and one thing that I think Bret Hart said in an interview he was the most proud of in his career was that no one, not one person, ever got any significant injury from a match with him. Unfortunately, that's how his career ended.
Exactly. I
with
think
with a concussion. But,
yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd still have to go Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Even though that match. Oh,
Kurt Angle would probably win with a angle slam from the top rope if Bret didn't make him submit before that. That's my opinion. But yeah, Kurt would win, in my opinion. Kurt was a phenomenal wrestler.
yeah, and that was when he was really in his prime.
Kurt is one of the greatest professional wrestlers out there, especially back then. He's one of the greatest.
From his original run from 2000 to 06, yes, absolutely.
One of the greatest. Bret Hart as well. But yeah, okay. Let's move on. Ric Flair from 1975 versus Shawn Michaels from 1996.
You know,
We're talking about Ric Flair at his peak, arguably.
I think 75 is before his peak, actually.
Arguably.
I think his peak was more in the 80s, to be honest with
It
you.
was. But at that time, Ric Flair was more influencing these guys, because by the time Shawn Michaels, or any of these guys, you ask them who influenced them, they would say Ric Flair.
That is very true.
So Shawn Michaels from 96, he had the pretty boy swag going. He had the attitude. All these guys all these guys got some element of their characters from Ric Flair.
But you're still talking about both of them as world champions at this point too, because I know Ric Flair had a world title reign or multiple ones in the '96 to '98 era WCW, and Michaels is fresh off his Iron Man match at this point in '96. So
exactly, and Flair's at his physical peak at this point, versus Michaels, who's at his his prime.
You're talking about an hour-long classic at this point,
Yeah.
in that kind of match.
Now, we saw this match, WrestleMania 24, but at that point, these guys were already past their prime.
And you know what, though? Even past their prime, that match was very well done.
It was. So now we're just talking specifically at their physical peak. You know, the physical peak and
you know, it's really hard to go against Ric Flair in his prime.
Right.
Oh.
I'm gonna go with Ric Flair.
You know, my heart is telling me to go with Michaels. It really is.
Is it?
I gotta say Shawn Michaels. We disagree on one here.
Okay.
I have to go with Michaels.
All right, guys, you let us know what you think.
Yeah,
I say Ric Flair. He says Shawn Michaels.
I'm saying the Heartbreak Kid.
Okay. Next, I gave you a different point here, so I'll just do both of them.
All right.
Brock Lesnar versus Bruno Sammartino from 1975.
Now, are we talking Brock Lesnar in his first run or his current run?
His current run.
If we're talking about his current run, I got to go Brock Lesnar. I know how dominant Bruno was at the time.
This is Bruno. This is Bruno that's selling out Madison Square Garden. This is Bruno in his physical peak prime. He's world champion now.
I agree. Now, if we're talking Brock's first run, I'd say Bruno.
Bruno, definitely.
But because we're talking about Brock as a beast, guy who ended the Undertaker streak, who, you know, is on this legendary run with the belt. I know obviously not even close to Bruno's 8 years, but
right.
In terms of the modern day legendary runs, I got to go with Brock if we're talking about his current run.
Okay. Next opponent that I had for Brock was, Brock currently versus the Ultimate Warrior from 1990.
That's the Warrior that beat Hogan for the belt, isn't it?
It's Warrior
with the Intercontinental and World titles.
Right.
Oh.
I'm gonna go with Warrior.
You know,
I'm gonna go with, I think Brock would be outmatched in strength. I might be wrong there, but I think
if Brock is beating Bruno, I have to put Brock over Warrior also. I do. Now, if I was watching this match, I would love to see Warrior win. But, I got to go, if we're talking about modern day Brock and not his first run, again, if it's his first run, I put Warrior over.
Okay.
But if it's his current run where he's the beast incarnate, I got to say Brock Lesnar.
Okay. I went with Warrior. But I don't think you're wrong either.
Yes, and again, we're disagreeing here. So, hey, listen, you want to break the tie or get involved in this conversation? Please do.
Now, this next match, I think it's probably the best match I have on here, and it's just a testament to how good Shawn Michaels is. Let me just tell you the match first. Triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship. Shawn Michaels from 1996 versus Seth Rollins currently versus Owen Hart from 94.
Oh my God, you're killing me. Wow.
Who wins this match? It doesn't matter. Just seeing it alone.
Here's who wins. Everyone watching the match.
Exactly.
That's who wins. I'm not even gonna pick because I'm just not.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But if you want to give us your opinions on who you think would win, go ahead. But I'm not picking. I refuse to pick, and the winner is us.
Yes. It wouldn't matter. It honestly would not matter.
It would not matter at all.
Moving on. Stone Cold from 1998 in his prime versus CM Punk in his prime.
So we're talking about 2011 here?
Probably.
In the height of his popularity, I guess you'd say?
I mean, I think if he got himself back in shape, gained some weight, he'd still be fine. So what do you think would win?
I have to go with Austin.
Yeah,
I do. He's the original, badass. He's the Attitude Era, the Rattlesnake. Don't get me wrong, I love CM Punk. He was great with his run as a face and a heel in 2011 to 2013. But I got to go with Austin. I do. It's Stone Cold.
Yeah, Punk unfortunately was born into the wrong generation.
Yes, if he was involved in the Attitude Era, we're talking maybe a different scenario here.
If Punk was 15 years younger, he would have had a great run in ECW. He would have had an even better run in the Attitude Era.
Yes,
no doubt.
Especially with his look, tattoos, and everything at that time frame.
Oh yeah. So next match. So this is the last one, guys.
Okay.
WrestleMania 13. Sting from 1997 versus The Undertaker from 1997.
Well, let me put it this way. It would have been a lot better than Undertaker versus Psycho Sid. Which, coincidentally enough, I think that after this, Wilson is going to list off all the champions from the last 21 years. I think, are we starting at WrestleMania 13?
No, I'm going to start from Royal Rumble. Actually, you know what?
I'm just curious.
I'll start from
Royal Rumble 98?
No. I'll start from 97. Yeah, I'll start from the early 97.
All right, well, we'll get to that in a second, but...
yeah, what do you think? I said Undertaker would win.
Sting 97.
Versus Taker 97.
You know, I would say Sting. Because Sting was being really built up at that point.
Yeah, but
he had just changed his gimmick over to the black
crow,
and white,
right.
the crow gimmick. And Taker wasn't... this is before the Ministry of Darkness, before the corporate ministry, etc., before they really enhanced his gimmick, I guess. And we're talking about before Kane arrived. So we're still talking about not old school Undertaker, but not the
See, Taker...
it's tough when you... because it's all fantasy. It's just perspective, I guess, too.
Well, by this point, Taker had, a solid 6 years. He was WWE Champion twice now. He was already established. He didn't,
was, yeah.
So... Yeah, I would go with Taker. I think Taker was a better athlete than Sting is.
But keep in mind, Sting is a former world champion at this point, too.
Sting is one of those guys who was able to transform himself. If you look at Sting from the late 80s and early 90s.
The bleach blonde, flat top.
Exactly. He was great then. And then you go to the late 90s into the early 2000s. That Sting was great, was great as well with the NWO. So, Sting was able to adapt. Taker was able to adapt. But I think I give the slightest edge to Taker.
I can see where you're coming from.
Right.
I'm still going with Sting at that point.
You're not wrong.
Because that was in the beginning of his Crow era, so it's like almost like you want to push that. But those two characters, it's a match that never happened that should have.
It should have happened.
It should have happened 10 years ago.
Yeah, it should have.
But all right, so I believe we're gonna close the show with you listing off 20 years worth of WWE champions.
21 years.
21 years in the correct order without making a mistake. Is that what you're trying to do here?
Well, I'm gonna try and do you guys one better. I'm gonna try and name the title changes and the actual pay-per-views. I probably won't get all of the pay-per-views, but I can definitely do the title changes. Where it gets rough for me is around the 99.
Yeah, I believe there were something like 12 changes in 99.
Yeah.
There's a lot in there.
But I can do it. If I put my mind to it, I can do it.
I'm going to get a list up for myself just so I can see them.
I was going to tell you, pull out the title history for yourself so that you can confirm that what I'm saying is actually correct.
But also what I'm going to do is I'm going to be recording this with my digital camera off to the side.
Right.
Just to prove to everyone later on, we'll post this podcast, but also the video of just this to prove to everyone that Wilson does not have a list in front of him.
I do not.
And cannot see the list that I have.
No.
Just to, prove that this is a legitimate thing. But, just give me a second here while I pull up the WWE title history.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we have that.
And you know what, just for you, the guys that are listening, this is the WWE Championship title history.
Yes.
In 2002, they had the brand split when they introduced the World Heavyweight title. So then the WWE title was moved over to SmackDown. So I'm going to specifically do the WWE Championship. Hell, if you guys want me to do the World title from 02 to 13, I could do that too.
Yep. All right, so we're ready to go here. Wilson, what title reign are you starting at?
Well, you can pull up 97, early 97.
Early 97?
Yeah.
All right.
Put that over there. Ready? All right, so you have the title history up?
I have the title history up.
Okay. Give me a second. So I'm doing the first title change in 97 all the way to 2018.
Present day.
Present day. All right. So, 97, Shawn Michaels beat Psycho Sid for the title at the Royal Rumble, right?
Correct.
Then Shawn Michaels got injured with a knee injury and had to vacate the championship.
Correct.
Then Bret Hart won the title at In Your House Fatal 4-Way, I believe it was called. And
In Your House Final Four, but you get
Final Four.
Point. Yeah, Bret Hart was correct.
Splitting hairs here. Yeah, Bret Hart won the title. Then Psycho Sid won it the next night on Raw.
Correct.
He held it until WrestleMania 13 when he lost it to The Undertaker.
Correct. In fact, I'll only tell you if you're incorrect. Otherwise, keep going.
Right. Taker held it till SummerSlam when he lost it to Bret Hart in a match where Shawn Michaels was a special guest referee. Then Bret Hart held it until Survivor Series, and he lost it in the Montreal Screwjob when Michaels, I guess, was pretty much awarded the title.
Yes.
Michaels then held the title until WrestleMania 14 when he lost it to Stone Cold.
Yes.
and pretty much started the Attitude Era.
Point out the angle that Wilson cannot see the computer. Also,
I can't.
just show back to there's no notes back here, no nothing.
Look, there's nothing here.
Nothing here.
Nothing. It's my apartment, but yeah, there's nothing here.
Just so everyone knows, this is legit.
Right. So
this is virginity showing there.
Where did I leave off?
I believe it was Stone Cold Mania 14.
Mania 14. Then Stone Cold held it until King of the Ring 98 when he lost it to Kane in the first blood match. Then he won it back the next night on Raw, Austin. Then, let's see, 98. Then, 98. So then Austin wins it in June of 98, right?
Yes, this is where we're at.
Okay, no, I'm fine. Then he ends up vacating the title because of a double pinfall with Kane and The Undertaker. Then the title is pretty much vacant until Survivor Series 98 when Rock wins it. Rock holds it, and I might be wrong, he holds it till December 28th, but it aired on the January 4th episode of Raw in 99 when Mankind won the title.
The match took place on December 29th, but yes, this was a January 4 Raw.
Right.
Yes.
So I guess whichever you're counting, but
just we'll go with January 4 when it aired on TV.
Right. So Mankind won the championship on that Raw from The Rock. He held it until the Royal Rumble when Rock beat him for it. Rock held it for 2 days, lost it back to Mankind on halftime heat.
Yes.
Mankind held it until mid-February when Rock won it back in a ladder match on Raw. Rock held it until WrestleMania 15 when Austin beat him for it. Okay, 99. This is once I get past 99, I'm gonna be fine. So Austin wins it at Mania 15, and he loses it to The Undertaker at Over the Edge 99. Undertaker holds it for about a month, loses it back to Austin. Austin holds it until SummerSlam when Mankind wins it in the triple threat match with him and Triple H.
Yes.
Triple H wins it, I believe, the next night on Raw.
The next night on Raw, yes.
Triple H holds it roughly a month. Vince McMahon actually wins the title. He ends up vacating it on like a few weeks later, or a little bit over a week later.
It was about a week later.
About a week later. Then Triple H wins it back at I believe it was a 6-pack challenge at Unforgiven 99.
You are correct. It was a 6-pack challenge.
He holds it until Survivor Series 99 when Big Show wins the title.
Correct.
Big Show holds the title until the very first episode of Raw in 2000 when he drops it back to Triple H. Am I right?
You are correct. Yes.
All right, now I'm rolling. Now that I'm gone through that 99.
I could do probably this part to like 05, but other than that, I can't do it.
So where did I leave off? Big Show?
Triple H beating on the first Raw of 2000.
So Triple H wins the belt the first Raw of 2000.
Yes.
Sorry, I got a phone call.
Wait.
Yeah, well, it's fine. He holds it until Backlash 2000. He loses it to the Rock.
To the Rock, yes.
Right. And then let's see. Rock loses it at Judgment Day to Triple H in that Iron Man match. The Rock wins it back from Triple H at King of the Ring 2000 in that 6-man tag team match that they had.
Yep.
Rock holds it until No Mercy 2000 when Kurt Angle beats him.
Correct.
Kurt holds it until February 2001. Then Rock beats him for the title. Rock has a very short reign, loses it at WrestleMania 17 to Stone Cold. Stone Cold holds the title until Unforgiven 2001 when he loses it to Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle holds it for approximately 2 weeks, drops it as Stone Cold at the October 8th, 2001 episode of Raw.
That is 100% correct. the date and all?
Yeah, because I saw that live. That's why I remember it. So we're at Stone Cold winning it. He holds it until Vengeance, December 9th, 01, when he loses it to Chris Jericho, who unified the WCW title and the world title, the WWE world title.
Yes.
So Jericho's the undisputed WWE champion. He holds it until WrestleMania 18 when Triple H beats him for it. Triple H holds it until a little over a month, loses it to Hulk Hogan at Backlash 2002. Hogan loses it to The Undertaker at Judgment Day 2002. Taker holds it for about 2 months, loses it at Vengeance 2002 to The Rock.
Correct.
In that triple threat match with Kurt Angle. By the way, that's a great match. Rock is champion for a month, if that. He loses it to Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Brock holds it until Survivor Series. He loses it to the Big Show. Big Show loses it a month later to Kurt Angle at Armageddon 2002. Kurt holds it until WrestleMania 19 when he drops it back to Brock Lesnar. Brock holds the title until Vengeance 2003, July of 03. He loses it to Kurt Angle in a triple threat match with him and Big Show. Kurt holds it, I believe, until the September 16th SmackDown that aired on the 18th in the Iron Man match that he had with Brock. Brock wins the title that night. And Brock holds it until No Way Out 2004 when he loses the championship to Eddie Guerrero at No Way Out. Eddie holds the title and loses it to JBL at the Great American Bash 04. JBL holds the title for approximately 280 days and loses it to John Cena at WrestleMania 21, who holds the title until, it wasn't Raw, New Year's Revolution, when Edge cashed in Money in the Bank after the Elimination Chamber. That was Edge's first world title run, too. He holds it until the Royal Rumble later that month, like 3 weeks. Loses it back to Cena. Cena holds it until One Night Stand when RVD cashed in his Money in the Bank on him, and RVD won the title. RVD got caught in that drug bust or whatever. Unfortunately, they ended up taking the title off him on the July 3rd episode of Raw. So Edge ends up winning the title in a triple threat match with him and Cena. So now Edge is champion. He holds it until Unforgiven 2006 when he loses it to Cena in that TLC match at his hometown in Toronto, Canada. That was September. So Cena wins the title there. He holds it for 380 days, and he doesn't lose it. He has to vacate it due to a pectoral injury. I think it's towards pectoral muscle. Yeah. So what happened? Oh yeah, at No Mercy that month, Randy Orton was awarded the title. He ends up defending the title against Triple H immediately, loses it to Triple H. Triple H then wins the title, defends it against Umaga later that night, then is forced to defend it against Randy Orton again in a last man standing match that was originally supposed to be with Orton and Cena. Orton ends up winning the title back that night. Orton holds it until Backlash 08 when he loses it to Triple H in a fatal four-way with him and JBL and John Cena. Triple H holds it until Survivor Series 08 when Edge ends up taking Jeff Hardy's place in that triple threat match with him and Vladimir Kozlov.
Vladimir Kozlov title match.
Yeah. Edge holds it until Armageddon, about a month later. Jeff Hardy wins the WWE Championship. He holds it a little over a month. He loses it back to Edge at the 2009 Royal Rumble. Edge holds it until, this is funny, Edge holds it until No Way Out, like 3 weeks later. Loses the WWE Championship. I think he gets pinned. I think he's eliminated by Jeff Hardy.
He was the first one eliminated.
Right. But then he ends up like going into the World Title Elimination Chamber, winning that title. But that's a whole separate one. The WWE Championship was won by Triple H that night. Triple H holds it until Backlash 09 when Randy Orton wins it again in another 6-man tag. Randy Orton. Randy Orton holds it till Extreme Rules when he loses it to Batista. Batista gets injured, like, was it like 2 days later?
I think he was injured in the cage match, actually.
Yeah, he drops the title 2 days later or something like that. Orton wins it back June 25th Raw in a fatal four-way. He holds it until...
That was a draft show, I believe, of Raw, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was in April.
Wasn't that match the opening? Didn't that open the show, though?
Yes, it did, actually. It did.
Why? Not the point, but just why? All right, well, back to where you were. Orton wins the vacated title.
Right. So he holds it until breaking points.
Yes.
There we go. I almost got it messed up. Breaking point in a submission match to John Cena. Cena holds it until Hell in a Cell. He holds it until Hell in a Cell.
Yes.
In October. Then Orton holds it until like later that month, loses it to Cena back at Bragging Rights in an Iron Man match.
Yes. That was a good match. I enjoyed that one.
We watched it at my house.
We did. Cena almost got blown up by fireworks.
So there was that. Cena holds the title until December of 09 when he loses it to Sheamus in the tables match.
Correct.
Sheamus holds it until Elimination Chamber when he loses it to Cena in that chamber match. I think Cena ended up eliminating Triple H last. Unfortunately, that title reign didn't have any significance because Batista was awarded a title match immediately afterwards, and he ends up beating Cena. He held the title for a little less than a month, loses it back to Cena at WrestleMania 26.
It was a little over a month, but who cares? Yes, that's correct.
So Cena wins it at WrestleMania. He holds it until June when Sheamus wins it again.
We were there for that. That was Fatal 4-Way.
Yes.
Horrible pay-per-view.
Where was that? New Jersey?
Uniondale, New York, Long Island.
I can't see.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Again, Wilson cannot see.
No, I can't see anything that he's. I can't see the title history in front of him. Strictly from the top of my head. So I'm at what? Sheamus?
We're at Sheamus at Fatal 4-Way.
Sheamus holds it until Night of Champions when Randy Orton beats him in that 6-pack challenge.
Correct. You look like you were going to be stumped there for a second.
Well, I'll be fine. Randy Orton holds it until, oh my goodness, let's see if I can get the date right. November 22nd, 2010 Raw when Miz catches in Money in the Bank. Miz holds it until Extreme Rules 2011, May 1st. He loses it to Cena and John Morrison in that triple threat match. But Cena wins the title. Cena holds it until Money in the Bank 2011 when CM Punk beats him. Now, this is where it gets a little iffy. The way WWE recognizes this is that there's two champions following Money in the Bank 2011. So they had a tournament after CM Punk won the title and left the company, kayfabe. So Rey Mysterio ends up winning the championship in a tournament final against The Miz. So Rey Mysterio is the champion, but they also recognize CM Punk as a champion at that same time.
And this is all correct.
Then Mysterio has to defend the title, or his half of the title, against Cena later that night, loses it to John Cena. Then CM Punk returns that same night. So technically, the way WWE recognizes this, that was July 25th, 2011 Raw. CM Punk and John Cena were both recognized as champions going into SummerSlam 2011 to make sure there was an official undisputed WWE champion. CM Punk ends up winning that match and is declared the undisputed champion. It doesn't end his title reign. It's just a continuation of his title reign from the previous month.
Yes.
That makes sense. I don't mean to confuse anybody. Then Alberto Del Rio cashed in Money in the Bank that same night, and he's the champion. He holds it until, it was what, August? Almost got stumped there. He holds it until Night of Champions when he loses it to John Cena, which I don't know why that happened. Cena holds it for like 2 weeks, loses it at Hell in a Cell, back to Del Rio. Del Rio holds it until Survivor Series 2011 when CM Punk beats him. And then CM Punk has his long 434-day title reign where he holds it until January 2013 when he loses it to The Rock, which is a whole other conversation to have.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. You know, just for the fun of it, I might just do the world title too.
I don't know if people want to hear that today. We'll do that in another video.
Probably.
We're already at 15 minutes on this one.
Are we?
Yeah.
Anyways, where was that? The Rock? The Rock holds it until Mania 29. He loses it to John Cena. Cena holds it until, let's see, this is 2013. SummerSlam? He loses it to Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan loses it to Orton immediately after winning the match when Randy Orton cashes in. Randy Orton holds it until Night of Champions. It was Night of Champions. The following month, Daniel Bryan wins it. He's stripped of the title the next night on Raw because of a quick pinfall by the referee. The title is vacant until, I believe, Hell in a Cell 2013 when Orton wins the title. Then Orton and John Cena end up unifying the WWE title and the world title at TLC 2013.
Yes.
And Orton is the WWE World Heavyweight. I'm at TLC 2013.
Yes. Yeah. Wait.
Do you need me to go back a little bit?
TLC 2013.
Yeah. That's where they unified the World Heavyweight title and the WWE title. It should be on there. Okay, so Orton wins the title at Hell in a Cell 2013. Meanwhile, Cena's the World Heavyweight Champion. Then they face at TLC 2013 for both titles Orton wins, and he's declared the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. No. It's not even listed there just because Orton already had one belt, which was the WWE title.
Right. They continued.
It doesn't even show it on here. That's all.
Because they continue the lineage of the WWE title.
It doesn't mention because it doesn't have that match listed because Orton never lost the WWE title.
True.
He
True.
won the World Heavyweight. Okay.
Right.
So, yeah.
He just unified them.
Yeah. I got confused there.
So Orton holds it until WrestleMania, when he loses it to Daniel Bryan. When Daniel Bryan beats him and Batista for it.
Yes.
Daniel Bryan has to unfortunately vacate the championship due to a neck injury. And it was like the June 7th or something. It doesn't matter. June 9th Raw. John Cena wins the title and Money in the Bank later that month. He holds it until SummerSlam when Brock Lesnar dominates him and wins the title.
That was amazing.
Brock Lesnar holds the title until Mania 31 when he loses it to Seth Rollins, who cashes in Money in the Bank during his title match with Roman Reigns.
Yes.
That was what? Yeah, Rollins. Rollins unfortunately loses the title. Well, he has to vacate the title due to a knee injury he suffered. So after that, they had a tournament where Roman Reigns ended up winning the title. Then Sheamus cashed in Money in the Bank and won the championship. Sheamus held it until the December 14th Raw.
Correct.
2015, where Roman Reigns won the title. Roman held it until the Royal Rumble 2016, where he lost it in the Royal Rumble match itself, where Triple H won it.
The one versus all Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it was a stupid concept. Triple H held it until Mania 32 when he lost it to Roman at Mania. Roman held it until Money in the Bank when Seth Rollins beat him for it, and then Dean Ambrose immediately cashed in on him and won the title. Then this is where the brand split happens, second brand split. Dean Ambrose is sent to Smackdown as a WWE Champion. He loses it to AJ Styles at Backlash 2016. AJ holds it until the Royal Rumble 2017 when he loses it to John Cena.
Correct.
Cena holds it barely for 2 weeks when he loses it to Bray Wyatt during the Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
Bray Wyatt barely holds it 2 months or a month and a half.
It was less than 2 months. It was 49 days.
Oh my goodness. He holds it for that long. Loses it to Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Then Randy Orton wins it at WrestleMania. I don't think he even holds it for 49 days like Wyatt did.
Yeah, it actually was 49 exactly days.
Was it?
Yeah, 49.
Well, then he wins the title, and he loses it to Jinder Mahal at Backlash.
Correct.
2017. Jinder holds it until November 7th, 2017, SmackDown. AJ Styles wins the title, and AJ's the current champion.
That is correct. All in a row.
So I just named every WWE champion from 1997 to present time off the top of my head. I could probably do 96, but I'm not going to do that.
We're not going to do that. But, yeah, so for what it's worth, anybody who doesn't know the history of the WWE Championship, well, now you do.
Yeah, and, maybe next time I can name you the main events of every WWE pay-per-view from 2000 to now.
That's disgusting that you could do that one as well. But, yeah, that's all the time we have for this week's episode. Episode 2 of Give Me a Mic Pro Wrestling Podcast.
And thank you guys for tuning in and listening. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please write them down below.
Facebook, YouTube, subscribe, like, share, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, follow us on social media. Wilson A. Detres on Snapchat, Facebook.
I'm good with just getting to the end of the day stuff. You can find me at Chris Day on Facebook, though.
All right. Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.